right, fuckers.
Yeah, I love how it was like, you still there? Fuck you, I am here.
All right. So J&J After Dark. I think like I had put this originally like a week ago, the
What?
topic, and it and
Yes,
it
a week ago.
it just ended up being where it kind of lines up with what we spoke about today on the show.
Even what I put on after that.
Oh yeah, the cancel culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
Let's talk about, because I think you had something to say as well, and I might have had something extra to say. So let's
so
start with your topic.
I wanted to talk about the unnecessary characterizations and sexualizations of characters and mascots. Again, I put this on the docket like almost 2 weeks ago, but we're talking about it now. It just lined up with the stuff about the M&Ms. So I find it super weird that our culture does this. It's the age old system of like sex sells.
Yeah.
So with the green M&M, right? She was originally portrayed as this like seductive, female character. Um, and then when she was taken away, it was an uproar. This was like it's the liberal agenda, and like everyone is woke now, so everything has to go like neutral, and oh, but she's gonna be gay now, and that's okay. And people get so irate so quickly, and I can't understand why this is such a
You
big
know what it is?
deal.
It's just one. So again, not this is not to give them excuses. These people that get a hard on for candy, and pun intended. But it's like, I remember when I was younger, and growing up with the red, yellow, and I believe green. I don't recall brown being there, but I think it
Brown
showed up
came
later.
later, I feel.
To me, it was those three. It was red, yellow, and green. And green was just a girl. I was like, cool, she's the girl. She had this seductive, sexy look, and I was like, okay. To me, it was just a girl M&M.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I was in my life when I was like becoming a teenager, when I was starting to figure out my sexuality, but that never had an effect on me as a kid, like watching that
Yeah,
or seeing
you're
them.
not jerking off to the green M&M.
Yeah, I'm not, and but the thing is, there are people out there probably doing it, and
Yeah.
those are the people getting upset. Like
So
they have to be. There has to be some sort of correlation to that. Like, you're getting upset because she was taken away, because you can't jerk off to that anymore.
so like news outlets covered it too, and I was looking at something. Tucker Carlson like went off the freaking deep end, getting pissed off about it and saying how this is like the liberal agenda, and they take away the high heel boots from the green M&M, and like it's uh the woke people
This
now.
is for the new stuff, like this new
Yeah.
information. Okay, got it.
And he like went crazy over it, and I was just like, these things were made in a certain time where unfortunately, right, the portrayal of women was more of like sex icons rather than just women. And now, as mainline perception has changed, a little bit at least, and now we're trying to focus on inclusivity and not treating women as sex objects, right? Like, you know, we can have regularly like characterized women on things,
I
and
would say the women that you see, everyday women.
yeah, so like more realistic portrayals of a female character, maybe that's how I should say it. And who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand the anger and the frustration. Like, who gives a shit? Like, now if I can kind of see like if somebody was like, but even then I wouldn't get mad. I would just be like, oh, this is a stupid decision. The thing I was thinking about was like, what if Lucky the leprechaun from Lucky Charms, right? Just
Just had abs.
no, like he went the other way. Like he took off his hat one day and he was a woman, and like he
This
had
whole
like
time.
yeah, this whole time he was a
So it'd be
woman,
like a
and
transgender
yeah,
thing,
like it
and
was trans. It was a transgender. Then I would be like, okay, this is pandering, and this is like not a real thing. They're just doing
especially at
this.
this time, yes.
Like
If
they're
this
just
was like back then, like in our childhood days, we would have been like, oh shit, he's a woman. I don't even think we would have bat an eye because
Because why
we
would you?
weren't hearing a lot about trans in the news at the time, even though that was a thing, but we weren't hearing it all the time. It wasn't part of a political thing. Now it's like if that happened today, that's pandering, and we were talking about that in our last After Dark.
So
Um,
and then it also comes to like stuff with like Pokemon, right?
mm.
There's a lot of Pokemon designs that are viewed, especially on the internet, are viewed as sexy.
I remember you can go OG. You sure we're thinking the same thing, Jinx. I remember
Well,
like,
Jinx is just a woman. Like,
but I'm sure at the time
yeah.
when they did do stuff, drawing fan art was just going out the window with that.
But not even fan art. I'm talking about the regular designs. Like this other one was a low
Mm.
punny.
I'm just thinking of like people would
I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm
sexualize.
gonna bring it up really quickly. Um, I think it's low bunny or low punny. Low punny. Yeah, this is the one. So I'm gonna just show it on stream really quickly.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
waiting. I'm just like watching. I was like, where is it?
so here it's this one. It's this Pokemon here. So this like the internet went
Okay.
crazy over, and this is from Generation 4, and it's just a rabbit. It's clearly a female rabbit on, standing up. For whatever reason, the internet took that and ran with it, and it's like, "Oh, this is a sexy female bunny." And, continues the conversation till now. Um and then there's been other ones like the cat, the from the new generation.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about.
It's the one of the starters.
Yeah,
Sprig.
it makes me think like I think there's a line where you can say this if your brain can say this is a sexy thing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a sexy thing. Fine. Now you're saying it's supposed to be sexy, being male or female. It's supposed to be sexy, but now it gets you off or turns you on, and then whatever decisions being made by big companies, it gets you tight. Why is that? I think that's the question. Because, like for example, I'm aware that yes,
This one right here.
that started Pokemon. I'm aware
Meowscarada. Meowscarada. It's
that
another bipedal character. It's a cat, very female inspired with a mask on, with a masquerade mask.
like I'm aware that Lola Bunny is supposed to be the sexy figure, but do I get turned on by that? No. But I am aware that that's what she is. But now, if they decide to make her again, like kind of like the Green M&M, they try to make her, I guess, the everyday regular woman. Someone's gonna be out there getting tight. But then it's like, why are you getting tight? It's kind of like my thing is why people get mad about Spider-Man is not this, blah blah blah. But I'm like, if you're tight about it, why don't you do something about it instead of yelling at the internet? If again using Lola Bunny as an example, if they made her this way, why don't you take up art and go draw your own thing and you masturbate to that in your own secret room? Why make your weirdness known? You know what I mean? Because it like this is not the same topic, but it's kind of like when people get upset, it's like you're saying, "Oh no, Superman's not black," but I'm like, "You're a racist for saying that." He's like, "No, no," but I'm like, "Yeah, but why is that a problem for you?" Or it's the Ariel in Little Mermaid. Like, why is that a problem for you because she's black? Are you mad that she's black? Or like there is a line. So with this sexuality of characters being the green M&M or the purple M&M, like do you want to be turned on by these
Yeah,
characters?
like
And
what's
there's
the
people
goal?
go through
Like,
those things.
listen, everyone has their own thing. Like, I'm not gonna, kink shame or whatever, but
No, no
when
shaming.
when it comes to sharing opinions or even news coverage, which is why this is really sticking in my brain, um, like why there's such a heated debate over characters evolving, evolving away from certain characteristics and becoming a little more realistic or a little more like true to their nature, right? Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Like
Like, I just don't understand.
so much energy wasted
Like,
on something
and
that
you know what? Sometimes, right? Let's get it out there. Sometimes these things are made to be sexy. Like that is truth. Low Bunny, I know for a fact they must have been looking at maybe some Playboy bunny
they
reference.
have to have been.
They have to. It is impossible. Or even some anime girl, because you can see the a little bit of like the in the posing. There's some like anime girl
Mhm.
like typing there. So and those things typically are, overtly sexual, like that's a trope. Um but for it to be an issue that needs to be discussed and then on top of that people spew hate over it, I will never understand.
I think yeah, there are different things like exactly what you said, but then also to be part of the media when the media should. When I say media, I mean journalism.
Yeah.
Journalistic media should not be focusing on that. They
No.
should be focused on the real stuff. I wanted to draw attention to the Monterey Park thing earlier. I forgot to bring that up. But our prayers go out to the family
Oh,
on
yes.
that. I totally forgot about that. But stuff like that, that is something that should be covered. Not the again. I love Maya Rudolph. She's great. Like I love her 110%. But there was no need to be like, oh, let's find a replacement. You know what you should be getting mad at? It's changing a mascot. Like when they like, for example, uh, Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh,
I
so
love
bad
the
saying that.
original design, but the way he looks, like that's what you should get mad at. Not like, oh, now he's like, if you said he was gay, that shouldn't matter. He's still the same cool dude or same cool rat dude. But changing the actual design would probably get me more upset than the actual, I guess, identity of the character. That's like getting mad at someone for being gay or being like that does
So
that's the thing that in light of Martin Luther King Day a week ago,
yeah.
yeah, like it should be about whoever how the person is internally, not who they are. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So, and I'm happy you brought that up, right? Because I was viscerally and continue to be mad at the Chuck E. Cheese rebranding.
I think we've had this
Yeah.
conversation in college.
And it is because, and I said it during the episode, it's the shift from like cartoonification to realism, and you take away the magic, right? When you start to make things more realistic, then comes in the political agendas, then comes in the identification of the characters. You can no longer just have a character be a character,
Exactly.
right? Like, first thing that came to my mind was Fraggle Rock, so we're gonna go with that. So those Fraggles, right, that lived on Fraggle Rock, did anyone give a shit if they were trans, lesbian, gay, black, Asian? No, because they were characters, and that's not what the basis of the show was. It's not the basis of their characters. They were just characters existing in this thing. Now, should characters have those type of identifiers? I go back and forth on it because depending on the property, it is nice to see representation. It's
I think it
nice.
depends because these people are all colorified. Like you, I think you should be able to see like, oh yes, he is lazy like me. Oh, he's ditzy
Yeah.
or she. But when you have realistic characters, like let's say, where was this? Was in Sesame Street actually. There are humanoid puppets.
Yeah.
There should have been people of color in there, or let me think. Popped in my head like, well, Recess had really colorful cast, but let's say uh I can't. That's not a good example. But you know what I mean. Like, there's just realistic characters in these shows that have real like our realities mirrored on there. They're black, they're white, they're Asian. Definitely throw them in there. Maybe say that this person's gay, but that's not an identifier. You can just because you should be able to see yourself, no matter who you are, in those people.
Yep.
Now, going back to the M&Ms, I sometimes see myself as I'm like a between the red and the yellow M&M because sometimes I could be dumb, but then sometimes I look at the yellow M&M and he's like, okay, I see myself in those characters, but that doesn't make me, you know what I mean? It's just I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But you're getting now, people are. It's kind of like again, this I having watched Princess Mononoke, the more people fight, the more the forest starts to retaliate to and feed off people's anger. So the more people are just getting angry at this thing and saying and putting this political angry agenda on these characters, it takes away from the people who enjoy it and for the people who created these characters. So it's like you're fucking it up for everybody. Like, shut up.
Yeah, just let it go. Let things be what they were created to be. And if it comes time for them to evolve in the correct way as a character, then so be it. You
Yeah,
know?
like if you said something like, "Oh, Purple M&M likes child porn," that's something you should be upset about.
Oh my god.
Yo, am I wrong?
Well, yeah, that's
Like
something to be
you
very
should
upset about.
you should be upset about that. But just because I have to actually look up the purple M&M.
It's a
What it's
girl.
she,
It's the
right?
girl counterpart to the yellow M&M.
Purple. I can't spell for a second. But no, like, why get mad at something that they just created another M&M? Like, I'm like, they're literally just trying to do what Marvel Studios doing. They're world building, and you're just taking it away from
Yeah,
them.
just let it be.
Let them have their Thanos.
Like they got the way I look at it is like Eminem was in Mars, right? They
Mm,
got bullied into removing characters that are 3 decades old.
that's
Like
so
that is
unfortunate.
so fucked up. Like the original personification of the characters came around in the 90s. I believe they had, simpler versions in the 80s.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it was like 2D before they
yeah,
went 3D.
2D, but like not like crazy. Like they were just animated M&Ms. They weren't like they didn't have their own personalities and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then came the advent of like Billy West being the red M&M,
Hmm.
and that was a big deal. And then they each got built out as their own characters, starting with red and yellow, and then I think blue and green, and then orange, and then
Yeah, they
brown.
all came in.
Yeah. So I just don't like. It sucks to see that a company got bullied into removing their characters for no real reason. Like you said, it wasn't something outrageous that happened with these characters. It was just one got a new pair of shoes. Like, come on. And they made another one like a rotund, physique. They have
Yeah.
two male M&Ms that are the yellow and the blue, and they're big, and no one cared. And then with the purple one
But
being
then that's a
female,
conversation in itself. That's fat shaming women at this point.
yeah,
Like that's all you're saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like what are you mad at truly? At the M&M or fat women? Not sorry, not fat women, bigger women. So it's like be my thing is be honest with yourself. Stop, you know what I mean? Like you if you're going to I'm not saying go hate on these people, but you need to work on yourself or just shut the hell up. Like that's all you got to do. And
yes.
if you didn't like it, then go draw a skinny version of this purple M&M and go jack off to it. That's as simple as it can be. That's so wild.
Like it's so ridiculous that this is like
I'm
a thing
actually
that's
I'm on
happening.
Google and just passed by. Like I typed in purple M&M, and in DeviantArt there is. I'm gonna see if I can put it
Of
up on the
course,
screen.
there's reckless shit, right? Yeah,
Like it's wild.
that one just got announced in September. So what? October, November, December, 3 full months. Like it's so ridiculous. Like, why do you need to make fun? First off, you shouldn't be making fun of anyone. But why do you need to make fun of a freaking character like that?
Freaking candy.
Like a candy. Who
Well,
cares?
I kind of want to like not beat a dead horse because we know people are dumb at this point.
Yeah.
But answer me this, and I know this is a question that everyone's asked. I don't think I've ever gotten an answer. Why are the mini M&Ms better than the regular M&Ms?
You know what? I concur with that, and I do think it's because it's less chocolate.
Because when you eat all of them all at once, you just it tastes better.
Yeah.
Because you can do that with regular, and it doesn't taste the same.
No.
I wonder if the same formula is in there. Like I'm gonna
It
go
has
buy
to be.
mini M&Ms one day. I'm
It
gonna just
has
go
to
buy.
be. It's just I really feel like it's just because it's less chocolate, and that chocolate, it's super processed. So when you eat a bunch of them at once, it's like overload for your mouth. But when you eat a whole tube of the mini M and M's, it tastes good because it's in smaller doses.
But somehow they're getting you.
Yeah,
They somehow they were sleeper agents at this point.
probably. So okay, do you want to wrap it up, or do you want to go into your topic?
um, I guess we can just let's talk about the cancel culture
Okay.
bids. For those listening, cancel culture. We're not talking about canceling people or canceling groups of people. We're talking about freaking. I got the updates. I was like, wait, what are you doing? Freaking streaming services canceling shows.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna just pick on Netflix, which they deserve to be picked on.
Netflix deserves it the most cuz fuck
But
them.
a lot of companies have uh, canceled stuff. Where like I'll use this for example, but I am actually happy that it ended this in its way. I'm not gonna spoil it. Westworld. Westworld got canceled, but the way it ended, I think it was perfect. But my beef now is that it's not available on the platform, which is
Yeah,
weird
I
to
feel
me
like
because
HBO is
they
kind of
own
fucked
the
up for doing
property.
that.
Yeah, they own the property, and the whole point of that is, and I'm sure you can agree, and most people would agree, is for money. They need the money. They're trying to save money, so they're gonna sell Westworld to another platform. Someone will pick it up, but if someone picks it up, there's no point in re I guess bringing it back because these actors will probably be onto something else unless you decided to do a reboot refresh. But
Yeah.
that'd be corny at that point. If I was HBO, I would have just left it on there. You know,
Yeah, I don't understand the impetus to sell off these things or to just remove them from the platform.
Mhm.
HBO after the merger, they did that with a bunch of shows. The biggest one probably being Westworld, and they took it off. But they also did it with some other ones like Final Space. Like just because something gets canceled, why remove it so that no one could ever see it again?
Which
Um,
is weird because this is not canceling, but because they're the only ones doing this, from what I know, they're off sourcing or sourcing out
Offloading.
their offload. Well, not offloading. So they're gonna have Amazon Animation or whoever does their animation for Invincible
Yeah.
do their DC stuff.
Oh
So I'm
yeah.
just like, that's a little weird to me. I was like, well,
They're
who was the company
outsourcing. Yeah.
outsourcing that? Yeah, I was like, why would they do that? Um, which is very weird to me. I remember looking online where same article, same post on what Netflix says that they don't cancel successful. Someone mentioned the Marvel shows, but I was like, that's not a cancel. They did cancel it, but the reason being it was gonna be the rights would revert back to Marvel Studios
Yeah.
themselves. But it is technically a cancellation, but that I wouldn't count that as a cancellation.
No, I wouldn't either.
But yeah, a lot of shows just cancel stuff. Paper Girls, another one on Amazon, got canceled.
After
But it's
one
just like
season.
after one season. But I'm like, are you doing a good job marketing? Because
No,
it
you're
kind of
not.
it brings me. Yeah, I only knew about it from way back when, and then when it was dropping, I remember posting about it, and then a week later, it was like canceled. I was like,
And then you get
I
quality.
didn't put money on it.
Then you get quality bullshit, like actual terrible garbage, like Velma getting a second season before the first season's even done airing. Like,
Like you can only do that. Like you can call a home run like when you pull a Mandalorian because
yeah,
that had a
man.
lot of marketing. That was like Velma didn't have a lot of marketing. Like if people would have probably got used to the humor if they knew what they were going into.
And dude, it's not
Um,
even the humor. It's just like
yeah,
it's
like all
not good.
it's in its entirety. Yes.
Like the show is
Again, when we talked
unfortunately
about it,
not good.
it has to. find its footing or it will get canceled. And that's what I'm talking about now. It's gonna get canceled because they weren't prepared. You mentioned this a while back. This is not a show, but crap, what's that show? Or that movie that Netflix or that Disney was doing, but that didn't get a lot of love.
Oh,
Else,
Strange World.
uh, yeah, didn't do a lot of marketing, but it didn't do so hot because what were you
Yeah,
guys
it.
doing?
No one went to go see that shit because no one knew it was coming out. Like it had a stellar cast, it had zero marketing, and then randomly they started pushing out commercials a week before the trailer. I mean, before the theater run. And I think it was because they had something else coming. Was it Black Panther was coming out right after it?
I believe so, dude.
So,
And
and the only thing I could think of is like they didn't want it to get cannibalized, but they're so drastic. Like they're such differently uh drastically different properties
yes,
that it wouldn't have been any crossover like any cannibalization of audiences because like yeah, I'm sure there's a Venn diagram that exists that they're gonna there's people that are gonna see both, but they're targeted very differently. Like
yeah,
the subject matter and everything is super different. It's not like it was two superhero movies. Like
yeah,
one was a very family action adventure movie, and the other one was a very heavy superhero movie, tackling a lot of things about death and stuff. Like very different from the exploration and adventure of Strange World. And the
yeah,
cool thing about Strange World when they first announced it was the animation and the art direction that it had. It looked really, really cool and different. And they just let it flop, man. They really did. I still haven't seen it, which sucks because I
no, I
keep
haven't seen it.
forgetting it exists.
It pops up whenever I go on Disney Plus, but the first thing I like today, I didn't mention it in our episode, but I finally finished my second watch of Andor.
Mhm.
Right after that, I just hopped on Bad Batch. I was like, there's so many things I can watch on there, but I just forget about it because it's
Yeah,
not like they like I do want to watch it, but then it's like, where do I put my time in? Like
yeah.
I could have watched it today, but I was like, either I was gonna watch Princess Mononoke or No Country for Old Men, which I've never seen. So I was like, that's something I'm gonna probably watch. But speaking of canceled shows, Raised by Wolves was another HBO show. That's a show I wanted to check out.
Mm.
Also was canceled and removed from HBO Max. So I
I
didn't
don't
even
know
know that.
why they did that. I mean, I'm sure it's to like get back money, but still, it's a very weird strategy. And you spoke about it on the show. You mentioned Inside Job from Netflix, and dude, I started watching that show. Fuck Netflix. Fuck
Yo, I was
Netflix.
gonna watch it, but I was like, I didn't want to do it to
That
myself.
is a great show. Animation, comedy, story, fantastic. The cast out of this world. And I don't know if it's the same studio or animation studio that does Rick and Morty, but it's the same animation type. Even some of the
Okay.
characters you can see they borrow likenesses from Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Uh, like there's a Mothman character and he talks exactly like the bug aliens from Rick and Morty. He even kind of looks like them a little bit. But yeah, it is such a good fucking show. And I know that show did well because that show was all over the place when it
I
came out.
think, and before it got canceled, you told me about it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, I might go check. And then I heard on the internet it got canceled, and I was like, um,
It was one of those that got renewed and then canceled like a couple weeks later.
is that why
Because
you
I I
reneged on
follow
that
I
too?
follow one of the artists on Instagram and
Oh yeah, you told me. Yeah.
she was like all hyped for season 2, then fucking a week later it was like, "Oh, we just got the call. It's axed."
And you see, and this is why you got the platforms. Again, I I only talk about Apple TV because I also work in quote unquote in the company. Like a show that I'm kind of revisiting again because two things is Jason Momoa and he's dressed in samurai garb in season 3. So I only saw the first 3 episodes the first time it came out, but I'm rewatching it again, and it wasn't
There's
canceled; it's concluded.
there's 3 seasons of that?
Yeah, There were 8
Wow,
episodes each.
I didn't even
So,
know.
like, but it looked like they had a story in mind. So the thing with
Yeah,
Apple though, they have things in mind and they're tying it up and they know what people like, which is something that I like. I like things tied up. Ted Lasso, for all the
yep,
greatness it's brought, they're saying the next season's the last one, but
yeah.
Sudeikis is like, I'd be down to do more if they said, but I'm like, you can milk that cow for so long and then it could just get bad. And that's what I don't want.
Yeah, like end it while you're on top. Like don't milk it dry to where it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel and it's not fun anymore. Like end it while there's something to look back on.
And you know what's annoying too? Because now I'm just like kind of flip flopping because you mentioned Rick and Morty. With the thing with Justin Roiland, there's not I can't think of other space shows that out there. And I remember reading an article, they were saying, they were talking about Final Space. They're like, yeah, if you like Rick and Morty, you will
Yeah.
like this. And it's just not a lot. And WB had it and they just let it go.
Well, I mean, yeah,
They bolted it basically. It's in their hands. It's not even like they sold it.
yeah, no, they just sealed it away for whatever stupid reason. Yeah, they have Final Space. Paramount Plus has Star Trek.
But they're not canceling things. Things are just
No,
ending.
yeah,
Like Picard is on its final season. I haven't
no.
watched the
The I'm
show.
talking about the
The Rediscovery.
no
What's it called? Just,
Lower Decks.
oh, you mean the animated ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lower Decks
Oh, they have that. They
and
have the other one, the kids one.
Prodigy
Yes.
is the kids one, and those are
Yeah.
both going fine. And then, on Hulu they had Solar Opposites. Basically the same as Rick and Morty, and it's the same studio and creators and all that.
But then now the question is, if it's about money, why are you spending so much? You know, because it's like HBO is trying to make save money. They're trying to their business expense, which I know that's a practice, but you could
See,
have
I
found
I
a
feel
way.
like nowadays, and we've spoken about this before. Nowadays, budget is going towards making everything a bigger experience, but it doesn't have to be. We're at a point where like there's so many bigger experiences. There's so many shows and
And do that.
movies,
That's just movies at this
yeah,
point.
that
Put
have
those
so
in the
much shit.
movies.
Just work on story. All you need is story. Even if it's a sitcom, like I know that 90s show is, feeding on nostalgia. We're going to have some cameos from the old cast, but you got a bunch of new kids that are willing to do something and they're all unknown and let them figure it out and maybe we get a couple seasons out of that. It doesn't have to be a massive thing. Do something more grounded and invest in storytelling and good acting and pick people that don't exist already. Like don't be afraid to pull randoms in
Unknowns, yeah.
and
You
unknown
know,
actors.
and then Netflix, and I knew this a while back too in college. So when Netflix started out with its first original, it was, I believe, it was a Wolf show, and then there was House of Cards, and then I think, oh, and Orange is the New Black. But then there was a point where they just started throwing mad originals out, and then they started doing originals where they'll just slap their name on
Yeah.
something from a different country, and I'm just like, but you're just spending money now. And then they wanted to buy a production site. It was just like, but what? That's where their money is going. They're wasting it. They're making these things, canceling it. I remember when the Get Down got canceled, they said it was just costing too much. And I was like, well, why'd you freaking start it in the first place? A great show, but why'd you start in the first place with no, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. There's no plans involved. It's just like, they green light a show because it's a good premise, fine. And then when they get the bill, they're like, oh no. And it's like, no, dude, like, how about you fucking figure out what the next 2 to 3 seasons are gonna look like,
Yeah.
and then you go all in.
Yeah,
Like,
like Squid Game to me, like, personal opinion, I've seen this before. It's an anime.
yeah,
People around the world are freaking out. I'm like, you guys are basic because you don't watch anime. That's my judgment there.
that's the
But it's like
normies.
that they're gonna see season two and they're gonna be like, I'm sure, not trying to hate on the show, but the quality is gonna drop. That show should have just ended in season one. Spoilers for those listening. Um, he should have turned when he went into the no, he didn't go to the plane. He should have went to the plane and to see his daughter. The red hair thing, that's very anime. Like people are gonna be like, why he did that's just anime. Accept it. The quality is just gonna drop. Same thing. What was another one? Bird Box. It's a movie, but I'm telling you, if you threw that in theaters for a little bit, you probably could have gotten something, some sort of awards. Maybe you could have raked in some money there. But because, and that's another thing too, they're starting to put their movies in theaters for a short amount of time. And it's because of people like Scorsese, who also, with his ego trip, is talking crap about other movies, which again is very fucked up. Um, they want their movies to just get some sort of recognition. But I'm like, it shouldn't be on the directors. It should be on Netflix as a company. Like these are your products. Show it, give it more access, and stop being stingy and let me password share.
Yeah,
Because I'll go to the theaters if it's a good movie. That's where you'll get my money from as a non
you know what?
Netflix user.
To combat the whole password sharing thing, they could have just cut down from like 5 accounts on one to three.
Or they could have just made it a tier.
Or yeah, pay $5.99 for one, and then like as you go up the amount of accounts that you want, then you can pay
And that's
more.
how it kind of was too. I remember when but it wasn't by how many accounts, it's how many people could watch at the same time.
Yeah,
So I was just like, why? They're just deliberately being assholes about it. But funny enough, I forget, I didn't know his name. The CEO stepped down.
yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
like
like,
he was like the co-founder or something.
but it's like I'm wondering why he stepped down. Like, did he take all his money and just bounce, or is it like there's something there?
It has to be.
So I don't know. This canceling of shows is like, bros, either believe in the work or don't promote it. Because it kind of scares me as myself as a creator, where I kept thinking about it lately, and I was talking to someone a while back, like for the Alien Heroes. If I ever get it into the company that I want to get it into, it what if they decide to be like, now we're done? I can't continue that story, and that's very heartbreaking. I can't imagine what Olin Rogers is still crying to this day internally, not outwardly, but he's still heartbroken because HBO was just like, now we're done. That sucks.
And he fought. He fought to keep it. Like he really wanted to just finish it out. You know,
Yeah,
that's
if you were
rough.
gonna give me a half-assed ending, I rather had that. Well, I don't want to say half-assed, but give me like kind of a shortcut ending. I would have accepted that than stopping abruptly. That's
Yeah,
like
like give me
stopping.
like a 1 or 2 hour finale or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you just walked up to me and just stopped me mid sneeze. You just put your fingers in my nose. You just said no.
and you know, it's kind of like other animated shows in particular. They have a bad rep for getting canceled and then picked back up again, especially like the adult animations. So like Family Guy, Family Guy got canceled. Family Guy got
Yeah,
canceled
but
like
then it's also a different world too. That was a different world. That was besides social media. Like with social
yeah,
media at play and the more result number driven, how number driven we are now, that was different.
true.
Um, but you're
But
not wrong. It's gotten canceled multiple times. Futurama's another one.
Futurama got legitimately canceled 3 times and then picked back up at different times. In between they did movies.
Movie.
What was it, 4 movies or 3 movies?
Mhm.
In between seasons because the show got canceled. Like, there's stories to be told, and it sucks because like when things get canceled like this, create like you said, Jay, creators just don't have the opportunity to tell their story.
But that's another thing too. So the person I was talking to, they were just saying, like, why give your like it would be dope if Netflix took my show and they started, but then it's like you risk the chance of, or what's the word that you say, the gambit of them just shutting it down. That's why like I am very focused in trying to build my followers. Hopefully that can because like most of my followers are mostly like people I know,
Yeah,
but I'm still trying to build followers because let's say you do get those 20 million. I'm just gassing the number right now, but like let's say you get those 20 million followers and they're like, "Oh, we like what you're doing. We'll pay for that." because it's just you. And I would be making that money and I can continue to create that stuff without oversight. So like that would be dope. I can hire people to make cartoons for me, kind of like what Olin's doing right now.
Yeah.
It just won't come out in the way, you know, the production companies do it. But hey, give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Everything is way too money driven, but you know, there's still you can still have oversight, but in the indie realm at this point. Like mainstream right now is just not with the shits, and basically you can go fuck them. That's what I'm telling everyone right now. Just your dream to write for Marvel is cool. That will boost your notoriety, but definitely have your shit together. Like get your work, just promote yourself.
Yeah, don't
That's
expect the kind of treatment that you saw in like 2000s or 90s or even 2010s. Don't
that
ex-
that was the dream. That was the dream.
yeah, don't expect that
Nowadays,
treatment because it's impossible. Like you're way like Jay said, you're way better off doing it either independently on your own or with smaller publishing stuff. Like go through them, build your fan base up, and then if you get a job with the big guys, then it's just more people to look at your other shit. Like don't rely on the big channels anymore. You
yeah.
can't.
Don't give your precious shit to them because that would be so bad. Like
Yeah,
they'll just like,
unless you're like somebody who pumps out screenplays and that's just your job, you have no problem pumping shit out, throwing it out, and just
oh yeah,
getting paid for your thing and keep going. Fine. But if you have an
something that means a
idea like a
lot.
story and you want to tell it, you really gotta fucking come prepared when you go to the big guys.
Yeah, make your own shit.
And Netflix is one of those big guys now. It's not like before where
To be
Netflix
honest,
was
I don't
taking
even know.
chances.
Like a little part of me thinks every time I think of Voltron, like that was such a great series and is by Netflix. But then again, with the way they've been acting lately, I kind of just don't care. Like if today Netflix was like, "Yo, we saw your shit, we want to do," I'm like, I would be like, I need like a contract saying that I have 5 seasons. Like you can't cancel.
Like
It
that
needs to say you
it
can't
needs
cancel.
to air. Like
Yeah, you can't cancel it. And if there's some loophole, I don't want it. I'll have 300 lawyers or whatever I can afford to read that contract. Like I would be like, I need whatever the word I'm looking for. I just need things in place.
you
So I
need
can't
it
trust.
you need it like airtight. Like you no wiggle room. Like you want to be able to tell the story that you have.
No, they were all for that.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's a good place to end today's
True.
stream.
If you
So
guys have opinions on that, definitely shout it into the metaverse. Not Facebook's metaverse, but our verse.
yes, you shout it loudly in our verse. Um, so with that, we're gonna say goodbye. Thank you all for stopping by and sticking with us through the After Dark segment, and we will be back next week.
Yes, we will.
Don't forget to like and subscribe on all the social medias. Please, if you could share clips or share just our profile, that helps a lot. Thank you
Yeah. And
guys.
if you hate us, just tell us you hate us. We
Yep, that
appreciate
too. That
anything.
works.
We hate you too. No, we love
We love you very much. Even if you hate us, we love you. With that, I am Jay Justin Ruiz.
you. And I'm Jay, Jeremy Francois. Ah,
Thanks again.
bitches.